So you've been looking on Auto Trader, haven't you? And you've seen this very pretty looking sporty coupe for sale, the Renault Megane Coupe, which was released back in 2009. And you're thinking, wow, they're quite good value, aren't they? You get a lot of car for your money with those things. Well, here I am today in one of these cars to tell you what they're like and whether you should consider buying one. One of the most important things about a coupe, and pretty much the most important thing about a coupe, is how it looks. And I think that that's where Renault scored some points with this car, because it is a very pretty car. It's based on the Renault Megane, the standard version, the Mk3, but it's just a very low and sleek and nice looking version of that car, which, you know, was a pretty good looking car anyway. In order to give it that sort of sleek and lowered look, they did lower the roofline of this car as well as the ride height. Now in total it's 40mm shorter than the regular Megane. It's definitely aimed to be a more sort of sporting car, a more fun to drive car, because it's got firmer suspension than the standard car. Driving the coupe, it's quite easy. It's got lots of room in the cabin, lots of space. I've got lots of headroom and arm room and leg room, and it's got quite light steering. It's got a very nice minimalist dashboard. I really like the dashboard because it's not covered in buttons everywhere. It's got quite a sort of sleek look to it. Now it does look a little bit bulbous in the middle. It's quite a strange sort of shape, but all of the climate controls are just very simple to use. Rotary dials at the top, and then the radio underneath, which has all of the modern touches like a USB, aux in, Bluetooth. You've even got a CD player if you want that. You've also got a start-stop button. Because this car is keyless entry and keyless go, you can just keep the very interesting credit card shaped key in your pocket and just get in and out of the car without using it or pressing any buttons on it. It's got a slot in the dashboard which you can place the key in there, but because this car's got keyless go, you don't have to, you can keep it in your pocket. The steering wheel, you can adjust it up and down and in and out, so it's quite easy to get the right position for you. But the steering wheel itself, it doesn't have like any of the controls that you might normally expect to see on a steering wheel. I think you can just really control the cruise control on here. A few other things are controlled by this blocky thing stuck to the steering column. It seemed to be a thing that they used to do, but I prefer to see things on the steering wheel. The instrument binnacle in front of me, it's quite unique design. It's got your rev counter on the left, which is quite normal, but then you've got this massive LCD screen which is bright backlit with white lighting, and then off to the side of that, in this sort of like interesting little shape, is your little information screen. Now the rev counter, it doesn't have a red line, it has a yellow line. You don't red line this car, you yellow line it. The TomTom system, which is what obviously Renault were making a big song and dance about when this car came out, does age this car somewhat, because it's a very old-fashioned and quite basic system. So it is all controlled with this rotary dial, which kind of reminds me of an iDrive system in a BMW or the system you get in an Audi. Now, it's not quite as good as those systems, obviously. It's a lot more basic in what it gives you. It does have that kind of those old school graphics that you got on those old TomTom sat-navs. But the screen is nice and colourful, and it's in a good position where you can see it prominently. I'm not sure what this metal bar across the top of it is. It kind of looks like you can do something with the screen, like close it or do something, but it's actually just some sort of like chrome flourish that they've added to the screen. It doesn't do anything. There were three main trim levels you could get with this car, and the most common one was the Dynamique, which is in the middle. Now this is the Dynamique TomTom version, which meant that you got that TomTom sat-nav as well. But Dynamique is quite good because you've got like auto headlights, auto wipers, you get Bluetooth and 16-inch alloy wheels, and it's quite a well-equipped car in this mid-spec version. There was another one higher up called the Privilege, which gave you more stuff like a auto-dim rear-view mirror and rear parking sensors. Let's just find out what it's like in the back. So what do you think of the back, mate? Oh, are you wearing that because this is a French car? Is that what's going on here? Oh no, this is my beret. This has got nothing to do with being French. It's just the lack of headroom. This is about the flattest hat I could find. And this is probably the only hat you could wear in the back of here, because obviously the headroom is a little bit limited. It's a coupe. It's got a sloping rear roof. It's got very comfy seats. I've got a nice little padded armrest here. There's some space to store things, no ventilation, but you do get a 12-volt socket at the bottom. There's no armrest, but there is a nice little section down here which you could probably fit like a mobile phone or something. No bottles or drinks or anything. That's about it back here really, so back to you, mate. The ride quality has suffered a little bit for this being a firmer, lower, sportier car than the standard Megane, which obviously probably has quite a nice, comfortable French ride, but this isn't too bad. It's just that when you hit certain potholes and things, it really is quite noisy like that. It's quite loud, but you know, it's not the most uncomfortable ride in the world for a car with sporty aspirations. This car has the 1.6 litre petrol, which was a non-turbo, a very popular engine in this car, but it was also a very slow engine. It was one of the slowest versions of this car you could get, with a 0 to 60 of about 10 seconds. Kind of a fairly gutless engine, really. It's not. It doesn't really pick up much when you floor it, and it doesn't sound great. But it's a Euro 5 engine, so it's ULEZ compliant in any city centre in the UK. It's a low insurance group, and the tax isn't too bad either. You're talking, I think it's something like £250 a year to tax. MPG wise, you're going to get 40 MPG. So although it doesn't really suit this car in terms of its sporting characteristics. If you're looking for a car that's affordable to run, then this is a good shout for the engine. It's also got a nice big 60 litre fuel tank, so you're going to get over 500 miles per tank in this car when you fill it up. So it is a car that, again, you can travel long distance in without having to stop all the time. Practicality up front, not the best. You've got one small cup holder in the centre here, a small cubby underneath the armrest, and then some space in door pockets. As always with French cars, a very small glove box, because some of it's taken up with a fuse box, which they didn't move over when they swapped the car to right-hand drive. The boot is a good size, however there is a large load lip that you need to lift things over. The seats can be folded fully flat by lifting the rear seat base up first, otherwise you end up with this situation. Silly JJ. So of course, visibility when you are reversing like this, not great. You've got very, very small rear windows and a big blind spot. It can be awkward, but you know, that's what you'd expect with a car with the tiny rear windows and big C-pillars. Something that will always be asked of a French car is it reliable? The French do have a reputation for building cars that are not necessarily the most reliable cars, but this Renault Megane, this was 52nd out of 150 in the JD Power reliability survey, so that's not bad, is it? That's the top third, just about. So I would say that, yes, of course, they can suffer from issues, but they're not really any more unreliable than most cars. Do you have one of these Renault Megane Coupes? What do you think of it? Please do let me know in the comments below. Has it been a reliable car? Do you enjoy driving it? How long have you had it for? And of course, don't forget to like this video, give it a thumbs up. Fortunately, that firm ride isn't for nothing, because this car does handle quite nicely. It really does grip, and it feels like it's well planted when you're chucking it around the corner. It feels like a wide, low slung car. The steering's okay. It's not the most direct or accurate, but it's actually not bad. Like I think it's quite an enjoyable car all round. And then the brakes, you really have to shove your foot down on the brake for it to kick in. It's definitely not over servoed like some cars. Once you get a move on in this car on like a dual carriageway up at speed, it does become quite a refined motorway cruiser. The ride comfort doesn't really matter anymore because you're on a smooth road, and you've got this nice open spacious cabin. You've got armrests each side of you. You've got cruise control. It's not really particularly noisy in here, and you can just cruise along. It's a very comfortable car to just soak up the miles in. This car comes with 6 airbags as standard, and you get ESP and ABS and all that kind of good stuff to keep you safe. It had a Euro NCAP 5-star safety rating, of course. If you're wondering where the turtleneck uniform is, by the way, I forgot to bring it. I just don't have it with me, so that's where that is. So that's the Renault Megane Coupe. It's not actually a bad car by any stretch of the imagination. It's reasonably reliable. It's a very good looking car. It's a good long distance car, and it's also pretty fun to drive as well, and of course is affordable to run if you pick the right engine. The only problem it's got is, of course, all its competition in the shape of the Volkswagen Sirocco and cars like the Hyundai Veloster and Vauxhall Astra GTC. There's so many to choose from that I think with this car you're going to have to pick it because you like how it looks, you like the affordability of it to buy it and to run it. But yeah, it's certainly not a bad car, and one that you should be pretty happy with if you bought it. So a big thank you to Darius for lending me this car, and to you guys for watching. If you want to follow me on Instagram, please do. That's the tag for it there. And if you want to see a video on another car, then that's going to be up there. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.